Hi, it's 975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And this is a weird encounter I had. While I was waiting for a Corvette 1v1 duel, a player turned up at Halo Pro's carrier and attacked me in a Sidewinder. And I just thought I'd use it as background because it is really silly and funny. Now, the subject of today's video is what would I do with the Legacy version on console, especially on console, if I was FDev. Now, personally, I would make it free to play. I would increase the amount of server maintenance you're doing, because clearly you're not doing much server maintenance at the moment. We know that from the fact carrier jumps are glitched and people are getting so many D-instances. Then the server connection can be tenuous at times. And I would make the game free to play. Now the reason I would do those three things is I would try and increase the player base on the game, A, to get more revenue from ARC sales, and also because if you build that player base up to a point and you get the Odyssey version to be, how should we put this, workable on the new consoles, you can do a release of the game, a separate release of a new game called Elite Dangerous Odyssey on console, and milk this 10-year-old game for a bit more cash. Because honestly, we would buy it. We're suckers. We would. And you would make some decent money out of it if you built that player base back up. And the way to do that is just keep the game ticking over in a decent playable state and milk the money from ARCs, use that to pay for the cross-platform development. Now, I would then make the version that's out on Xbox and PlayStation separate from the version that's out on PC, just because you're then not tied into updates the same as PC. You keep them separate, you treat them separately, and maybe Xbox has to wait longer for specific updates, or updates to become, for their version of live would be on a slower timescale. This is the embarrassing moment. This is now I'm going to have to try and use fixed cannons to hit a Sidewinder, and yeah, this made me feel like this. I mean, having to use fixed cannons on a Sidewinder. But to be honest, oddly, it was quite good practice. But like I said, I think the way FDev have to look at it is look at the console version as a completely separate game to the PC version. That way you're not tied in, because one of the problems was when they released the PC version for Elite Dangerous and tried to make the console version run on the same server with the same update level, that was not a good idea. It was not a good plan, because obviously you're limited by console what updates and things you can put out. Whereas you're free on PC to do what you want, you can go and tweak things as often as you want. Xbox and PlayStation have kind of rules about how often you can update it. So if you make the Xbox and PlayStation version separate and just slightly different, you maybe amalgamate 3 updates into one, or you just wait till that update's perfect before you release it on console. And if you have them on separate platforms, there's no rush, there's no panic. You can't, you don't have to bring everything in that comes out on PC instantly on console. You can wait until the update's ready to come out on console. That is what I would do. I would try and milk us Xboxes and PlayStation people for more money. FDev seems to have gone a different route and is more in the term of abandoning us. We have noticed recently, like I say, that the promised bug fixes are not as often. We know the server maintenance not as often because we can feel it. Like the carrier issue at the moment is a really weird bug where your carrier doesn't lock down until 3 minutes to, literally 2 or 3 minutes to go, and then suddenly it goes into super sped up of all the way through the animation as if it's locking down normally. And if you're on the deck of your carrier, you're likely to get a game crash when your carrier jumps. It's crazy. It's funny hitting Sidewinders with cannons. It doesn't. The fun about this build is doing that to people when you hit them with the 4-shell cannons, especially in medium ships or small ships. It's hilarious. Shooting someone into a planet's surface is what 4-shell cannons were made for. Let's face it. Shooting anyone into an asteroid, another planet, shooting your teammates to make them go faster. These are all things that just make 4-shell cannons so much fun. Anyway, like I said, that's what I would do if I was FDev. I would try and build the community back up just to flog them the product later on down the line. However, I don't feel if they have the capacity to do that. I don't think they want to do that. I don't think that's on their horizon. I think they're pretty much done with the console version of the game at this point, even though we, the players, aren't. But I do wonder if the player base gets to a certain level, whether they will look at it again and change their mind, or if the ARC revenue gets to a certain level. Who knows? All we can do is keep on playing this game, having as much fun as we can, see what Starfield brings. I personally still think I'll be playing this even after Starfield comes out. But anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, and GG to Mr. Sidewinder.